Large intestine 15 is located anterior and inferior to the acromion process at the origin of the deltoid muscles. The easiest way to find this point is to take the weight of the person's arm, extend their arm and palpate for the clefts between the anterior, lateral and posterior heads of the deltoid. If you push medially, you should be able to feel the bony extremity of the acromion process. You need to locate this point inferior to the acromion process between the anterior and lateral heads of the muscle. Mark this point when the arm is then relaxed. Small intestine 3 is on the ulnar aspect of the hand. It's in a depression which is proximal to the head of the 5th metacarpal. It's in between the metacarpal bone and the muscle, and it typically lays on a level with the distal palmar crease.
Lung 11, it's at the radial nail point of the thumb. So in order to find that point, I'm going to look at where the proximal and radial borders of the nail meet. I'm going to look at the nail bed, feel for where the flare of the bone is, and put my point in.
Lung 7 is located 1.5 cm proximal to lung 9. It's located just a little lateral to the main line running from lung 9 to lung 5, in a cleft between the tendons of abductor pollicis longus and brachioradialis. It's located just at the base of the flare of the styloid process of the radius. In this position, the point is just about visible on the corner of the arm. If you locate the point too radial, it's falling onto the yang surface of the arm. Bladder 40 is located at the midpoint of the popliteal crease, in between the tendons biceps femoris and semitendinosus. To bring these tendons into relief, get the person to take the weight of their own leg. It then becomes quite easy to feel these two tendons. It's also easier to see where the popliteal crease lies. When they lower the leg, make sure you mark this point directly in the centre of the popliteal crease. Gallbladder 43 is located 0.5 cm proximal to the web margin between the 4th and 5th metatarsals. Try and tuck this point neatly into the flare of the base of the proximal phalange of the 4th toe. Liver 5 is located 5 cm superior to the prominence of the medial malleolus, immediately posterior to the medial crest of the tibia. Mark this point in between the medial crest of the tibia and the gastrocnemius muscle. There's often a nice notch in the bone just at this level. Stomach 36 is located approximately 13 cm superior to the prominence of the lateral malleolus on the anterior border of tibialis anterior. The easiest way to find it is to palpate down the tibial tuberosity. Find the base of the tibial tuberosity and move slightly laterally until you fall into a nice dip on the anterior border of tibialis anterior. This point is also 3 cm inferior to the inferior border of the patella. Spleen 10 is located 2 cm superior to the superior border of the patella in a tender depression on the height of the muscle vastus medialis. We know the patella is 2 cm long, so we can use this to calculate how high up the leg this point should be. A common mistake is to mark this point too far anterior or medial. A good location tip is to have the person press their leg down into the bed, which will bring vastus medialis into relief, and you should be able to palpate the depression in the height of it that forms spleen 10. Gallbladder 31 is located directly inferior to the prominence of the greater trochanter, 7 cm superior to the inferior border of the patella. To find the prominence of the greater trochanter, press the hips on either side to feel for a bony protuberance. To double check that you've found the greater trochanter, rock the leg from side to side and feel the bony protuberance moving underneath your hand. The distance between the greater trochanter and the inferior border of the patella is 19 cm. If you divide this distance into 3 equal units, each one of these units will be 6 1/3 of a cm. As the point we're after is 7 cm superior to the inferior border of the patella, it lays just a little above the superior border of the lower third